My parents said they couldn't afford a graduation gift. Then I watched them hand my cousin a brand new MacBook at dinner. I'm sitting there at Olive Garden with my community college acceptance letter folded in my pocket while the whole family's clapping for Marcus getting into state school. Not even a good state school, just state. Dad stands up like he's giving a wedding toast. We're so proud of you, Marcus. Here's something to help you succeed in college. He slides this massive Apple box across the table. Brand new MacBook Pro, AirPods, a leather case, the works. $2,000 easy, probably more. Mom's literally crying happy tears, dabbing her eyes with a napkin. Aunt Karen's recording everything on her phone. Marcus is grinning like he won the lottery. I asked about my graduation gift last month. Graduated top 10% of my class, got accepted to community college because that's all we could afford. Dad barely looked up from his phone when I brought it up. You know money's tight right now, kiddo. We're still recovering from the car repairs. Mom nodded along. Maybe next year when things are better? I said okay because what else was I supposed to say? But here we are at a $50 per person dinner watching them drop $2,000 on Marcus. The waiter brings out tiramisu for the table. Everyone's laughing and talking about Marcus's dorm room, what color sheets he should get, whether the meal plan is worth it. I'm pushing dessert around my plate, not really tasting it. Dad keeps saying how Marcus is going to do great things, how proud the whole family is, how this is just the beginning of his success story. Aunt Karen mentions the laptop again, saying what a generous gift it is. Mom agrees. We just want to see our kids succeed. Our kids. Marcus isn't even their kid. He's my cousin. I'm their actual son, and I got nothing but excuses. But I remembered something. 3 weeks ago, I helped Dad with his taxes because his accountant was on vacation. He's terrible with computers, so I sat with him for 2 hours organizing receipts and entering numbers. He left the room to take a call, and I saw the bank statements sitting on the printer. I wasn't snooping. They were just right there. $47,000 in savings. Another $23,000 in a CD account. Money's tight. Sure, I didn't say anything at dinner. Just smiled and finished my food. Hugged Marcus and told him congratulations. Drove home and went to my room. Stared at my community college acceptance letter and tried to be grateful for what I had. Tried to convince myself that maybe they really were struggling. Maybe those statements were old. Maybe there was debt I didn't know about. But the next morning, I stopped lying to myself. I called the recruiter who'd been emailing me since junior year, Army Reserves. I'd been ignoring Sergeant Miller's messages for months because Dad always said military wasn't for our family. Said we were better than that. That I should focus on education, not throwing my life away in uniform. That smart kids don't need the military. Sergeant Miller answered on the second ring. We talked for an hour. Full tuition coverage through GI Bill, sign-on bonus, healthcare, housing stipend, skills training. He said I was exactly what they were looking for and could start processing paperwork immediately. Asked if I was serious this time because I'd ignored his last 6 emails. I told him I'd never been more serious about anything. I went to the recruitment office that afternoon, filled out forms, took the practice ASVAB, scored high enough that Sergeant Miller said I could pick almost any job specialty I wanted. He walked me through the whole process, explained training, deployment possibilities, benefits. I signed the paperwork right there. He shook my hand and said, "Welcome aboard." Told my parents over Sunday dinner the following week. We were having pot roast. Dad was talking about needing to replace the fence. Mom was complaining about grocery prices going up. I set down my fork and took a breath. I enlisted in the Army Reserves on Tuesday. Mom dropped her fork. It clattered against her plate loud enough that everyone stopped talking. The military? We didn't raise you for that. That's for people with no other options. Dad's face went red, that vein in his temple popping out. I specifically told you not to even consider it. You're throwing your future away. Do you have any idea what you've done? Marcus was there again because apparently Sunday dinners are his thing now. He started laughing. Wait, you actually joined the Army? That's insane. Aunt Karen looked horrified. Oh, honey, no. There are better ways to pay for school. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, turned the screen toward my parents. Sign-on bonus deposited Friday, $20,000. Dad's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Mom reached for the phone, but I pulled it back. Then I swiped to my photos, pulled up the picture I'd taken of their bank statement 3 weeks ago. $47,000 sitting in savings, but money's tight, right? Too tight for even $100 toward my graduation, but plenty loose for Marcus's $2,000 MacBook. The entire table went silent. Mom called 17 times that night.